Alrighty, so this is the TaxWise software. All
Okay.
right, we are currently in year 2018. If you look here, so when you sign on for the free software, it actually gives you the ability to go back to several years. So
Mm.
you will have tax year 2020 coming up. That software is being worked on right now.
Okay.
You'll have tax year 2019. It goes all the way back, I believe, as far as 2011.
Shut
Okay.
up. Oh, ooh, I'm so,
Nope, you're
okay.
fine.
Okay.
Original reactions are definitely appreciated for this.
Goodness.
So you'll have multiple years.
Okay.
We also have the ability to provide you with business returns as well. And I do
Ooh.
have a training program for business returns. However, the business returns are not online. They are a desktop version, but you can, in fact, e-file for business returns as well. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So just letting you know that that is an option. So
I
this
like.
screen right here is your main dashboard, okay?
Okay.
Under the main dashboard, you're gonna have a couple of different options. I'm gonna move this picture here so you can kind of see it all right?
Okay.
So your first option is going to be to start a new return. You can open an existing return. You can
Mm-hmm.
check return status.
Okay.
From this menu, you can print checks directly depending upon what bank product you select.
I have a
I
question.
use personally TPG, which is Santa Barbara.
Mm-hmm.
Santa Barbara is interfaced directly with the tax software.
Okay.
So with TPG Santa Barbara, you checks directly from the software. You do not have to log into the separate banking product.
Okay.
Okay. And then here you can also print accepted returns. In my bundle that I do provide for you for your tax business launch, I do include my operations manual for how I run my business. It's strictly a guideline. You don't have to use it for how you run your business, but I understand that a lot of people are either coming from working for, companies like H&R Block,
Mm-hmm.
or they've been a single person office. So I just kind of wanted to include that as a guideline, as a base for you to see exactly how the method of operation should go handling a return from the beginning to the end of the closeout.
Okay.
So it's basically just like a cheat on a workflow. And you
Mm-hmm.
know, you're more than welcome to use it to the letter or alter it how you see fit.
Okay.
Um, we're gonna go here and we're gonna start with a new return.
Mm-hmm.
And the system is smart. So you can't enter 111 all the way across the board. It'll say that doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I did this incorrectly. Hold on, let's go look. 111, 222, 333, 111, 222. Okay. I do have to, it will
Add.
pick up and say, hey, wait a minute.
Okay.
That is not an option. If you notice here, this is big in California. I know you're in Louisiana, also in Texas. You can apply for an I-10 directly in the system. So you can
God.
actually start, you can actually start advertising if you have the ability to assist with an I-10.
Wow. Okay.
So there's two ways that you can go into the system. You can go into interview mode or you can go into tax form mode. Interview mode is best for beginners. It's going to basically walk you through the system. I'm sorry, hold on. My ask me this all the time. It's going to basically walk you through the system as if you had the forms. And I also include the basic forms that of information that you want to gather for intake with a regular client.
Okay.
So on those forms, you know, you have someone come in or you can email them directly. Um, and I have a CRM and I can provide those forms inclusive in the CRM if someone wants to upgrade for that. That is not included. The forms are included in the Tax Business Launch program, which is free. The
Mm-hmm.
CRM is a separate charge, but all of the workflows are loaded into the CRM. So you can take
Okay.
on virtual clients. So you can have people come in remote, which is going to come in handy for COVID,
Okay.
or you can have print them out. And then if someone walks into your office or whatever your setup is going to be, you'd have them sit down, fill out those forms, and then that will help with a lot of the the initial questions out the way.
Okay.
So let's make someone up. We're going to say this person is head of household, which is some of the most typical returns that I tend to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to click on the next button here. And my Wi-Fi is running a little slow, so bear with me.
Oh, you good? Because anytime it rain out here, child, their ours runs really slow. So I understand. Take your time.
Okay, so I'm just gonna use myself, and I personally like to type in all caps when I'm in the system. It just it helps keep things uniform,
Okay.
especially when you're sending all of your communication over to the IRS.
Okay.
Alrighty, we know what I do, and my email. There we go. And then it asks if the EITC was previously disallowed. No. So we're going to go on over to location. Was the taxpayer's home in the United States for more than half of the year in 2018? We're going to say yes. You notice it autofills on that.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to go with my business address. That automatically autofills. Now, I will tell you, when you go here, when you enter your zip code, you're going to want to start typing for a while because I'm going to tell you what it's going to do. When you hit that tab button, the system's going to go to work and it's going to automatically determine what city and state that the system is going to tell you it's located.
Okay.
So, for example, I used to live in San Pablo, right? So 94806. Now, sometimes it would come up as Richmond, other times it would come up as San Pablo. You see there how it switched and automatically determined that now I was located in San Pablo. So when you go to enter the zip code, I always tell people I recommend you pause, let the system determine what city and state you're located in, because if you skip down to the phone number and you're enter it, it's gonna have to happen twice.
Okay.
Okay. Then you'll just flip through these questions. I want to get to some of the ones that are more important. Identity verification, just so that you do know, you have to enter an identity verification for anyone where you're applying for a bank product.
Okay.
Okay. So if you're applying for a bank product, they have to have a state or federal ID. If they are, or it can be a consular matriculate ID. So if they're Canadian, or if they're coming from the Mexican or South American consulate, those will work as well. But it has to have an issue and or expiration date in order for a bank product to be approved. So just a heads up on that.
Okay.
Okay. We'll come on over to the general questions so you can take a look and see what those are. And then after I enter some basic income, I'm going to switch over to the forms.
Okay.
And at any time, you can interchange with forms. I know that this is not your first year as a tax preparer, so you know what the forms look like.
Yeah.
You're familiar with them. I personally skip the interview phase and go through forms. And one of the things that I love about this system is it has tech support built in.
Oh,
so
good.
if you're missing something, it's going to tell you in advance and it will give you a clickable link to the form that you need to direct and correct.
Perfect. I was going to ask you that too. So yeah,
okay.
That's what I'm used to.
3 of the most important questions that are going to be on the tax return that a lot of people try to skip over is, can the taxpayer be claimed as a dependent on someone else's return? No. Taxpayer blind? No. Is a taxpayer totally or permanently disabled? No. When I set you up in the system, I am going to create what they call a template for your returns.
Okay.
So you don't have to autofill all of the same information over and over again. So we're going to go in, we're going to stick in your EFIN, we're going to stick in your EIN, we're going to stick in your firm, and we can even, if you're going to be a single person office, we can set it up where we stick in your P10 that populates at the bottom all the time. That way you're not entering the same data entry for every single return. It's going to save you a ton of time, okay?
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to skip over dependents and I'm going to come over down to the type of income. So as you see here, one of the things that I like to advise people is if you've got a Schedule C and they've got a 1099 miscellaneous, I
Mhm.
do not recommend that you add it on the types of income screen. I wait until we get over to the forms and I'll show you why, because it's not going to populate correctly. You're going to have to delete it.
Okay.
So if you've got tip income, rent or royalty income, you would check that here. It would automatically populate a Schedule E for you.
Okay.
If you've got a Schedule 1, that will automatically populate a Schedule C for you. If you do a 1099 miscellaneous, it's going to attach it to the 1040. You're not going to be a happy camper. You're going to have to enter that data twice, so don't do that.
Okay.
Farm income is something that we don't generally deal with, but alimony income in 2018 had to be claimed, okay?
Okay.
So then any other income outside of that is going to be listed here. We've got W-2s, 1099-Rs, 1099-Rs with a penalty for that retirement, business income, 1099 miscellaneous. Skip over that. Do not enter it there because again, it's going to attach to the 1040 and not the Schedule C populate. So you're going to be doing double data entry. Okay.
Okay.
We know W-2Gs are generally for gambling and or unemployment. And for this sense, it's strictly gambling.
Okay.
Okay. Or W-2Gs in this sense also represent when you get a government refund.
Okay.
So that
Okay.
shows up here. So we've got interest, dividends show up here. They will automatically populate on the respective schedule of B or D, depending upon what type of dividends it is. So I'll show you what that box looks like. Let's
Okay.
go in and add a dividend. So we give the amount and the tax ID. It will automatically fill in on the Schedule B.
Okay.
Okay. Unemployment is very simple. I'll add one of those two so you can see what that looks like. Say I paid $9,000, and then I was a nuthead, so I didn't do the taxes. Don't ask me why. I actually know what California's EIN number is
Oh,
for,
Lord.
for unemployment, but you know, some things we just remember all the time. And then of course, Social Security.
Right.
And then a standard W-2, we'll go ahead and we'll add that in. And we'll say I made $90,000 and that I paid, let's say $12,000 in taxes, and I worked for T&B Associates. And of course, I know my own EIN number. All right, so that's all of my income, right? So there's two things that you can do. The system remembers your information. So you can go on to the Nets box. We can go on to assets or whatever else information we want to add in there, or you can just say switch to forms.
Okay.
It's saved.
Okay.
So now we're going to go in and we're going to look at form view. All righty. Oh, wow. What did I do on that W-2? Okay. So here's the basic information. This is going to change constantly, but this is your refund monitor. It's going to tell you who you're dealing with, what their AGI is, how much, right now, this is what I would owe in taxes. If it was a refund, it would be green. Click this refund summary. It's going to give you all the demographic information that you need as we continue to process this return, okay? Now, the state, if you continue through the questionnaire and you populate a state, that information would show up here at the bottom. I choose to skip the interview on the state. It's just a personal preference for me as I navigate my way through the return. You can choose however you want.
Okay.
This is the main information sheet, okay? If you notice here on this side, everything that is in red is information that we need to provide in order for us to be able to complete this return so we can run those diagnostics, okay?
This is much better, girl. Oh my God.
I knew you were gonna love it. Okay,
Yes.
so, and in the sheet, it will actually tell you, it will highlight in red what you need to answer in order for you to clear this sheet, okay? So are you excluding Puerto Rico income on this tax return? No, I didn't work in Puerto Rico, all right? Keep scrolling down. Okay, so head of household. I checked that I was a head of household, but I did not provide a person in my dependents, right? So it's going to say, hey, you don't have anyone listed here.
Got you. Okay.
All righty. And my child's Social Security number is, now I qualify for the head of household credit, okay?
Okay.
And then I've also got to go and list that here though too. So
Gotcha.
had I actually ran through the dependents, for the sake of the child tax credit showing up, I'm going to list them here as a 2003. Okay, 222, 333, 444. Alrighty. Now, it's going to give you a certain list of relationship to you that's going to qualify you. So this person has to be son, daughter, aunt, brother. Aunt's not going to qualify for child, but it's still listed as a direct relative. And I'll get into that in just a moment. But this here, foster child, grandchild, grandparent, half brother, half sister, nephew, niece, none other, or parent. Stepsister, brother, child, or uncle. Okay.
Okay.
Those are the only relatives that are going to qualify you for either the child tax credit, other dependent credit, or the earned income credit. Any other relationship may or may not work. Okay. And that has yet to be determined, and it's automatically calculated by the system.
Okay.
So of course we have to list the months in home, and then it gives us the code of if the child lives with you or not. When you go through the dependent screen, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a few moments as we continue to bounce around, the code will automatically be chosen for you. But this was a child that lived with me because it was my child. Notice how it automatically gives me the child tax credit.
Okay.
Okay. Now, here's a trick that I'm going to show you. Check the EIC, period. Okay. Sometimes it will auto-populate as you go through all of the questions. Sometimes it won't. Check it.
Okay.
All righty. So now we're going to talk about the state. Full year resident. I'm a California girl. All righty. Now, because I did that, if you notice, this kind of jumped here. Let's scroll down. And now you're going to see the California return has been populated here. Oh. And if you come up here and you click on return summary.
Easier. Yeah.
You're going to see the California information down there too now.
Yeah. Okay. That's much easier.
Now, if you look here on this line, it also gives you the ability to be a part year resident of 2 different states if you moved.
Okay.
Okay. And or if you were a non-resident. Now, when you go through the refresher education, let me explain to you how this works. There is a certain scenario in the state of New York, in New Jersey, where you can live and work in either state and you will be taxed in both. So you would be a resident of New York, but a non-resident of New Jersey. You get a New York credit and a New Jersey refund. It's tricky. Okay. So I'm just giving you an idea of how that shows up. Okay. So clients that are paying you up front, you would e-file only. Clients that you are taking your tax preparation fee out of, you would select a bank product. Okay. And then right now, for 2018, they were going by SBTPG. On all of the forms now for 2019 and above, it's just TPG.
It's just TPG.
TPG. It's Santa Barbara TPG, but it's the semantics of how they're showing up. So I personally pay my bills in advance. Oh, we're getting some feedback loop here. So e-file only. All right. You continue to scroll down. Here is where you would enter the bank account information if we were getting a refund, but as of right now, we're not. So we keep scrolling because we're still red. Okay. Taxpayer's PIN. Here's a secret of mine. I always enter their zip code. Something very easy for them to remember. And that way you don't have to deal with them calling you if they're not a return client saying, hey, what's my PIN number? I don't remember what that was, or what did you set it as? It's your zip code. And then right here where it says ERO firm name, that's one of those things where when we set it up, when I set up your template, this is going to auto-populate.
Okay.
So I'm just going to go in and do it really quickly because I want to show this clear to red.
Okay.
Alrighty. Alrighty, and two three nine five zero two one. I almost forgot my own phone number. Okay. Now, let's see, what else did we miss something? Do you want to allow another person to discuss this return with the IRS? I select yes, because I provide, included in my fee, is the one-time option for any questions. If there is an error on my behalf, for me to speak with the IRS in regards to my client.
Yeah.
I do that because it discourages people, if there is a mistake on my behalf, from filing against my bond.
Okay.
So for all returns, I basically say yes. I authorize myself to answer any questions in regards to that return. That saves you from having to get a power of attorney later.
Okay.
Alrighty. Okay, so now this is the last thing. So identity proofing level. You can say that you identity proofed them in person. You can say that they did not have it, whatever the case may be. You would select that information, and we are still missing a red. Oh, okay, there we go. Calculated entry. I know it's calculated entry. Oh, there's no whatchamacallit set up in here. That's why. That's because I moved too fast on that zip.
Is that what? Okay.
It will time you out. It will absolutely time you out every time.
Goodness. Okay.
Okay, let's see. Now let's just double check and see where the reds are.
Okay. Your tail is cold.
So once you've cleared all your reds, you will go from red to green.
Okay.
Alrighty. To see how now my main info sheet is green? Alrighty. So my main info, my interview, and my worksheet 3. So now I'm going to head over to the ACA. Get the taxpayer. These are very important. So this is the most important question of 2018. I'm sure everyone knows this. All right. Did the taxpayer or spouse or dependent receive insurance through the marketplace? I asked this to my clients 5 times. And even though I ask it 5 times, I still have people come back and say, hey, we've got to file that 8962 because the IRS contacted me and they told me that they're holding my refund because I forgot to give you my covered California forms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I try to explain that to them in detail. When you hit this ACA worksheet, make sure they understand. So the easiest way to ask them is, did you get your insurance through your employer?
Okay.
If they say yes, then it's self-explanatory. If
Okay.
they say no, then there are follow-up questions that you can ask to determine exactly how they had their insurance. Was it straight Medi-Cal that was 100% sponsored through the state? Or did they have a premium that they were responsible for? Some people are on Covered California. They do not have a premium, but they still have to report that tax credit.
Right. Okay.
So you'll want to specify exactly what type of form did they get. Did they get a 1095A or B or C?
Okay.
Okay. All righty. So then we're going to get into the nitty gritty of the whole situation. I like to skip around. Before I even get over to the 1040, because there's so much that goes into it. I'm going to skip down to the W-2 first. All right.
Okay.
So check this box if this is the person's address. That is 100% my address. I work for TMB Tax. We're at 2231 McDonald Avenue. Okay, people. You know, it's really amazing to me how someone will see an ad on Facebook, sign up for the services, and then they're like, oh, I don't want to be contacted anymore. Well, stop signing up for stuff on Facebook.
Right. Right. Like move around.
Right. All right. So,
Cut it out.
okay. So I went in and I fixed that. So now I've got my current AGI. I made $90,000. I paid, what I say? If I made $90,000, I most likely would have paid roughly about $18,000 in taxes. I'm just doing better math here. We're going to come down and we're going to say, we're going to look at the W-2. Because California does not auto-populate on your worksheet when you're in your interview, you absolutely have to come over to the form and then populate the information for California.
Okay. And I'm liking this setup a lot better too, with filling it in for the W-2.
It's extremely easy and user-friendly. I absolutely love it. So, two things. One thing you're going to want to do is verify the federal withholding, Social Security withholding, Medicare withholding, right? Now, we know that if you are a government employee or a state, particularly state employees and teachers, their calculations that are listed on the Social Security wages and Medicare wages are going to be different from what they actually paid, right?
Okay.
Because there's a cap on that. So there's two things you can do. You can either verify that this information is correct. I'm not a state employee, so this would actually be, it's auto-calculated. The only thing that you're gonna have to enter is box 2 here for the federal, okay? Social Security and Medicare is gonna automatically populate because in the state of California, for federal, we pay a certain amount. That's just what the taxes are, okay? However, state, federal, and military employees pay something different. So you would check box 3. You would take the calculations off of 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Okay.
If you notice here, it turns blue. Okay.
Yeah.
So generally you'll find this where people who made over $100,000 sometimes, say maybe I made $120,000.
Okay.
The cap for, let me do this. The cap for Social Security is under 120,000. So I wouldn't have paid that much in taxes. So maybe this would have been, and then my Social Security tax would be adjusted equally. And then, so 3 and 4, 5 and 6 would be different. Make sense? You can actually do the same thing for state. Say, for example, the state and the local wages might differ. You can adjust that there. For issues with California W-2s only, this is where we list our California SDI, the additional state disability tax that we pay.
Okay.
Here's where non-taxable combat pay goes here.
Okay. And that's for military, correct?
That's for the military. Yep.
Gotcha.
So there are all kinds of ministerial income.
Oh.
Yep.
So wait, ministerial income, would that be a pastor, or like in my situation where I sing praise and worship, so I get paid from the church?
So ministerial income would be only for pastors.
Okay. Okay.
Yours would be taxable, and if they're paying it on a 1099, then you can enter it on your Schedule C.
They're not. I might have to add it as additional income.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Oh, hold on. It's gonna reload for me.
Okay.
All right, so let me take this back down to 90,000. And then there we go. Alrighty, so now we're out of that W-2. Now, mind you, remember I said, I work, this is primarily what I end up doing on this computer. So as you can see, a lot of the information is auto-populating for me. So
Mhm.
you'll want to specify if there are two returns, if this is a joint return, you'll want to specify which form is for the taxpayer and which form is for the spouse.
Mhm.
That plays a big part, especially if you ever have to use the injured spouse allocation.
The what? Oh, the injured spouse. Okay, got you.
You know, it's so it will basically tell the IRS whose income or credits are for what, so they can make, it will help them make the determination of how much money they're going to allocate back to the injured spouse.
Okay.
So 8867 is the due diligence. I also do include a sample due diligence form in my tax business launch, which is also part of the whole free process. So once
Mhm.
I assign you your own setup, because you're going to get your own software today, I'm going to email you all of your login information. You're also going to get the
Awesome.
login information for your tax business launch. It's going to walk you through all of the steps that you need to set up your own business, including ordering your fingerprint cards, how to sign in and or create your IRS login so that you can get your EFIN. You already have a P10, but it talks about how to establish that as well. It talks about being a sole proprietor versus an LLC, if that's something that you want to explore. It's not necessary, but it also gives you a couple of different resources for you to be able to get your bond, which is 100% mandatory and recommended. I do not recommend that you do anything without being bonded, because
Okay.
it's going to protect you from liability. Regardless to whatever your state requirements are, get the bond, okay?
Okay.
Alrighty, so due diligence requirements, it's just basically saying, you know, did you ask all of these questions?
Mhm.
I'm so used to doing returns, and I'm sure that you are too, that we can make these conversational. Generally, when people are just starting up in the business, this stuff doesn't roll off the tongue. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. It does not. I
um,
remember my first year. Trust me.
but I do include, you know, a conversational little script for you to be able to gather your due diligence information. And I do provide a list of the documents that you need to have on hand. I personally run my office paperless. So I
Mm.
invested in a scanner. And let's see if that's listed here. It's not. Oh, here it is. Okay. So this is your handy dandy friend. This is
Okay.
the vault.
Okay.
Okay. So in the vault, when I scan all of the information, I import that information directly into the vault. So I can go in, and here, these are just pictures of some stuff I was doing earlier. And I can open that information and say I'm scanning in the ID, the birth certificate, the
Mhm.
W-2s, right?
Mhm.
All of that information is now here.
Okay.
So when you close, right, it's saving. When you scroll down here, now look what we got already in
Mm.
the return.
Okay.
All of the stuff that we used to file this return is right here at our fingertips.
Yeah. This is so much better. Good Lord.
So now, say for example, you know what I mean? It happens to every office. I know that a lot of people are very nervous about this, but when you're in office, the IRS reserves the right to be able to come in and take a look at all of your files to make sure that you're in compliance, which is the whole process of due diligence. So
Mhm.
when they come in and they want to look at your information, because you have to have this, you have to retain this information for 3 years. This is all in the cloud. Here's my return. You know, here's all of the documentation that was provided for me. I've got my, I've got the ID for the person. I ID'd them. Here is a copy of their birth certificate. You know, here is a copy of if their child was in childcare. Here are those receipts. All of that information is automatically listed here. You know, and you can just give them a login ID, and now they're not carrying out all of your files in your computers, and you're not looking like a criminal.
Right. Right. Exactly.
That was a joke.
You're not being audited. Looking crazy.
Right, as you go through the audit.
No, I'm serious.
So now let's come back. So we'll come back over to the due diligence. And I know all of these questions. It's did you satisfy the knowledge requirement? Basically, it's asking, can this person claim the head of household? Yes. Did any information provided by the taxpayer seem unreasonable? So if they're sitting there and they're telling you all kind of crazy crap, let me show you. Here, let's see. Let's take a look at. Where are my forms at? Here we go. So here's my favorite form. Here it is. This is my TMB Tax Due Diligence Questionnaire. So I ask general questions, and this is, I provide a standard form for you. How many people live with you? How many adults? List the relationships. Having them fill this out can be a little bit time consuming. As you see, it's a PDF, it's fillable. I just email it to them.
I don't see anything.
If you can't see it,
Mhm.
oh, probably because I'm not sharing this one. Hold on.
Gotcha. Okay. No. Don't jump up here. Okay.
There we go. Can you see it now?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, so this is the due diligence questionnaire. And I include this in the tax business launch as a model. If you do the tax branding with me, I actually get one of these made for you with your business name on it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, so it basically just asks all of the questions that are necessary for you to be in compliance with due diligence. Yes, it is a little time consuming to have them fill this out, but this is one of the things you'd rather have than not. Okay, and then you just make them sign and date. You upload it directly into the vault, and you've completed your due diligence.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna go back to the software. Here we go. Okay, so then, did you make reasonable increase to determine the correct and complete consistent information? Yes, we did. And how do we know we did that? Because they filled out the due diligence form.
Yeah.
So we're gonna say yes. And then list any documents that you relied on. Well, we relied on our due diligence form.
Right.
And, uh-oh. Alrighty. Did you ask the taxpayer if she could provide documentation to substantiate the eligibility of the credits? Yes. Not only did we ask them, we made them provide it.
Okay.
Hold on for just a moment. Great, thank you so much. Let's see. Did you ask the taxpayer if these credits were disallowed? So that's the number one question. Have you ever claimed the earned income credit or the child tax credit and you weren't eligible? And most people will be like, oh yeah, no, that never happened. And you'll file, and then you'll have to come back and you'll have to file the 8862. So as you notice, once I answered that last question, it turned green. We're gonna pop over to part 2. And then it's just gonna ask about the qualifying persons. And did you explain all of the information? And you're gonna say yes all the way down. And then for head of household, the person can't be married or living with their spouse if they were married for the half of the year. And now we're in California. So another great and awesome feature is e-signature.
Yes.
Oh, shoots. Where's my ERO settings? We have the ability for ERO for e-signature.
Mhm.
Hey, honey.
You see 'em?
Both in and out of the office.
Yeah.
So if it's remotely, we can email it to them. If it's in office, we can have one of those neat little signature pads
Okay.
hooked up through a USB to our computer, and they can sign right there their documents. So you have the ability to have a completely paperless office. We do not have to retain and store a crap load of paper.
Thank God. Now
Okay.
my computer is it's touchscreen, so they can sign on my screen.
Okay. So what happens with the e-signature? Let's see here. Where's the e?
Or would I need to get that mouse pad?
No, it's not something that you have to purchase separately.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to show you what happens when you run the diagnostics and you've got error codes. For one, it's going to tell me that my EFIN isn't registered. Totally understand that. Oh, you know what? What's my temporary EFIN? Hold on. Because I do have a temp EFIN here. 085123. Okay, so here are the codes that we have to clear in order for this to work. On the main information sheet, a bank has been selected, but the bank product has not been checked.
Okay.
So when we scroll down, we'll see that I did go back to e-file only. I didn't uncheck that. So that wouldn't clear our diagnostics, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then a whole bunch of stuff in California. So I'm just gonna run through and show you what it looks like when it's gonna be good to go. So let me clear these reds really quickly. No. Oh, taxes owed. Yes, we want to e-file. Mail the check to me. No, it's not going to Puerto Rico. And again, for the state, it's very important that you list yourself as the designee. That way you're not spending time trying to get a power of attorney. It sucks.
Okay.
Here's another one. On the 8879, on the 8879 for California, it's going to ask you if you want to use the same federal PIN. Remember, we talked about the federal PIN being their zip code, so it's something that they could easily remember.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. So we just check yes. And I think I said my prior year AGI was 86,850.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason why it's asking for this information is because I'm in 2018.
Okay.
So for 2018, we can e-file.
Okay.
We can e-file. We can actually e-file 2017 if we have the correct information as well.
Okay, but anything else has to be a paper return, right?
Yes, for old return. And then we have the ability to e-file amendments, but only for 2019.
Okay, so e-file. Okay, so
if it's not a bank product. So
meaning like they do on it.
Yes, if it's a bank product right now, there's a glitch in the system between transmitting the information to the IRS.
Mm-hmm.
where I have not been able to figure out how to circumvent that bank product and the amendment.
Okay.
So just a heads up on that. And we're gonna do, what did I say? My child, 101, 222, 3, and then 0101, 2003. All righty. I think I'm almost. Now, two very common error codes that happen in the state of California is one, you've got to verify the information. Now, when you have multiple W-2s on a federal form, they do not always translate on the state form. So you'll have to come down here and click this plus sign.
Oh, to add it.
To add it. And the information will auto-populate from whatever you put on the federal side. It just doesn't add multiple W-2s.
Okay.
It's a system glitch. I haven't been able to overcome it. There's no way. Even every year it happens. We'll see if they'll debut something in the 2020 version of the software where the where it will auto-populate. So we'll see. But if you go here and you click on diagnostics, if you notice, errors are none. Okay. It does give you warnings. Warnings do not prevent you from e-filing though. So it'll say there is a refund on the tax return. No direct deposit information has been filled in. Is this correct? Yeah, fine with me. Let's create this e-file.
Tamika, hold on 1 second.
Sure.
I'm sorry. He's starting to turn into the dog who ate people's homework. I don't know why he just wants to start chewing paper. I'm so sorry.
No problem.
Refund on the tax return and no direct deposit filled in. Okay. So that catches it if you didn't put the direct deposit in.
Correct.
Okay.
Alrighty. So as you can see now, we've created the e-file report. We would run over here and then we go to submit e-file, right? We would select it and then press continue. We'd e-file the return and it'd be gone. And then we would just wait to see if it would come back.
Okay.
Whether it would come back accepted or if it would come back with information that we needed to get taken care of. One of the great things that I do love is they provide updates on states.
Really?
Go directly to the state website from the software.
Lord. Yeah, this is so much better. Now, with if we have to print a check, right? Do we need a specific printer?
No, but there is a software that you will need to download. See, here we go. Department of Revenue takes you right on over to Louisiana.
Wow.
You can click, where's my refund?
Okay.
Okay. So no, you do not need a specific printer. As long as it's inkjet, you're fine. We supply the checks directly from the bank product at no cost to you.
Okay.
And or debit cards,
Okay.
if you so choose. And then I believe TPG has a Walmart to Walmart option as well.
Okay.
Okay. Checks can be cashed at Walmart or Wells Fargo from TPG. This is what the system program was for 2019. I'm not sure what they're rolling out for 2020. That has yet to be remained. They'll let us know.
Okay.
We have something called in-season pre-fund.
Mm-hmm.
In-season pre-fund means that, the IRS doesn't start funding returns until late February, early March. You can apply for and may be approved for in-season pre-fund, which means that you would get a certain amount of your tax preparation fees in advance.
Okay.
So while they are waiting for it to fund, if it passes certain indicators, meaning they have been offset previously, and that they normally qualify for a refund,
Mm-hmm.
then you might get up to 50% of that tax preparation fee in advance. So it kind of helps you keep your office afloat. So you're not waiting until March to get paid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that definitely helps.
Okay.
Let's see what else. What else is going on? That's pretty much the gist of it. I will go ahead and I'll get you. There's two. Okay, so there's so you would log into your software to be able to process the returns,
Mm-hmm.
but then you would also have your bank product login for you to be able to track all of your reports. How many people have bank products? How many people have been funded? Who's not funded? TPG has something that is amazing,
Mm-hmm.
that is called kind of like an auto collect. So say, for example, and this is, I actually love this product. They do charge you 20%, but it helps you get paid. So say, for example, you go and you do someone's return. They apply for a bank product, so you're going to take your fees out of that bank product. But for whatever reason, their refund doesn't get funded, right?
Yeah.
So then you're stuck. If they don't come back and give you your money, you don't get paid for those services, but that return is filed, right? But when people file for a bank product, don't they normally want direct deposit?
Right. Yep.
So what pre-fund will do is they will go and they will collect that money from their bank account.
Oh, we
Mm-hmm.
need that. We need
So
that.
you might, so say you charged $200 for that tax preparation fee. They're going to take 20% of that, but it's better than not being paid at all.
Exactly.
So you're going to get $160, and they're going to keep $40 of it, but that's $160 that you may not have collected.
Exactly.
So there are all kinds of different options in regards to the bank, and we can definitely go over those in a different onboarding call when we choose. I'll send you some details, and you can choose which bank you want to proceed with.
Okay.
But did you have any questions?
I think so I asked about the printing of the checks. Okay, and you already covered how to, you'll send me the information on how to get my EFIN.
Yes.
Do I need to set up a business license here in Louisiana?
So,
for this, because I know any business that I do, I have to have like a separate tax ID number, all that stuff. But I was wondering, in this case, is that what I do? I need to do that here, with your company.
Your local laws in regards to how you govern with a business license will be dependent upon your jurisdiction, your parish.
Yes, I'm gonna have to. Okay, so if I'm doing taxes and you're providing me all the software and stuff, I need to go ahead and get a business license for this.
Most likely, yes.
Separate. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. So that's fine. I can do that.
Okay.
I can get all that set up, especially if we're going to set up my office or all the stuff that you're gonna do. Then yeah, I can go ahead and take care of that. So yeah, that'll be fine.
Totally understood.
I want to say that might have been, yeah. I think
you're
that
gonna
might
get
have been it. That was
two separate emails. Oh, go ahead.
No, I said that was the end of my questions. That's what I needed.
Okay. So you're going to get two separate emails from me. I'm going to send you an email that has all of your login information for you to be able to get into the software for you to poke around.
Okay.
And the client ID number that I assign you is going to be permanent. You're going to want to use an email address that you have 24-hour access to. So if you've got a Gmail or a Yahoo that goes to your phone, that's the
Mhm.
one that you're going to want to use to set up your software initially. And then you're going to get a separate email for the business launch that will walk you through everything you need to be able to set up the business.
Okay. Okay.
And then, you can call me anytime you have any questions.
Okay.
And then there's two types of support. As you see, there's built-in support in the tax software, but
Mhm.
then there's also phone support. So if you have questions in the middle of a return that are strictly related to you processing the return,
Mhm.
I do have a software support option that's like $14.99 a month, where I will walk you through all of that information. Of course,
Mhm.
if you take any of the education, you can always refer back to your book, but sometimes it's just a quick, hey, I was processing this return and this happened, and you need an immediate answer because you don't want to sit there and try to research some stuff while you got a client in your chair. Are you going to be
Right.
working remotely? Are you working from home? Or are you going to secure a small office?
Well, I belong to a Pole Hat, and so it's an open office space where people have different desks. So I'll either do that, or it'll be that, or I can do it online, and so it'll be kind of all three of those together.
Okay, understood. Alrighty.
Mhm.
And then last but not least, there is a branding package that I have available.
Right.
In that branding package, that basically, here, I'll show you what's included in that. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Where the
You're
heck is
getting there.
this? Okay, hold on. Can you still see my screen?
Yes.
Awesome. Good. I'm glad it didn't go away. That was going to irritate me for a little bit.
All the way down. She's gonna hear you get in trouble.
Okay, so branding. I couldn't remember exactly what was included. What am I offering? So you're going to get the CRM. You're going to get the
Okay.
client email campaign that includes the workflows. You're going to get an online marketing campaign. I provide you with a dedicated VoIP phone line that can forward to any phone or phones as needed. You're going to get the branded client onboarding forms
Okay.
and client referral cards.
Okay.
There is a setup fee of $149,
149.
and then
Okay.
there's a monthly fee of $79 that maintains your CRM and your phone line.
Okay.
And then the continued, why is that not listed here? Email campaign and the continued marketing. So with the continued marketing, I would load graphics and email suggestions into your course.
Okay.
And then you can share those, on any social media platform. And then I also provide 5 different printable flyers.
Okay. Okay.
Alrighty.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
if you don't have any questions, I will go ahead and I'll get those emails out to you.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Okay.
And welcome aboard. I am so excited to have you.
Yes, me too. Me too. Yeah, this is so much better, and it's just way more detailed. So yeah, I'm happy about that. And I definitely want to do the training, the refresher course.
Okay.
So
All right.
whatever you have to offer, I'm gonna, yeah.
Okay. So I will get you
I'm
all
gonna
of that
check all that's
information.
offered because I want to make sure.
I do not
Okay.
believe that I have the refresher course online. Let me see. I think I've just got the new and the research preparer, but there is actually, yeah, there is a refresher course that is a little bit less expensive. I think it's $349 for the research, and that's only if you're in a state that requires it. And I don't believe Louisiana requires recertification.
Yeah, I think we looked
A
at
minimum of I'm sorry, do they?
I said, I think we looked that up yesterday, and it said that I didn't have to.
Yes, Louisiana does not require a minimum of CE units.
Okay.
So the refresher course is $200 as opposed to the $349 for the research.
Okay, so 200.
So I'll get you the link for that.
Okay.
And then anything else, you know, you can always give me a call or pop in to the Facebook.
Okay.
I'm gonna add you to the Facebook group.
Okay.
And there's also a WhatsApp chat.
Okay.
So the
And I
WhatsApp
have
chat and the Facebook group are part of the is again part of the free package. So in the free package, you're going to get the software, you're going to get the tax business launch, you get the Facebook community, and the WhatsApp chat.
Okay. Okay.
What would require additional costs would be any of the education, the branding package,
Mm-hmm.
or the phone support.
Okay, so with the branding package, yeah, you said it was $149 to set up, and then
Yes,
$79 monthly, but that would include the phone number, right?
that does include your telephone number. It includes your CRM, your workflows, and all of your branded forms and marketing materials.
Okay. Okay.
And then just to be transparent, you do get marketing materials with your bank though, just so that
Okay.
you're aware of that. So when you apply for and you're approved for your bank product, you get bank branded materials.
Okay, okay, so that's within the software though we were talking about was printing checks and stuff, right?
Correct. So
When
you're
you,
going to get your checks, you're going to get your cards. You also get flyers that explain the bank product, especially if you're going to be offering a refund anticipation loan. You get like little cards that tell them how to check on the status of their refund. So there are a plethora of marketing materials that are absolutely free. My goal is to make sure that I'm transparent. I don't want
okay.
people to have to spend a ton of money to get into this business.
Right.
It's unnecessary. I know that I've seen, not to name names, but I know that I've seen quite a bit of different MLM kind of ideal brands that offer tax offices, but they're taking commissions, they're taking splits.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
With this particular, with my tax bureau, you keep 100% of your fees. You actually set your fees to whatever you want them to be. That has no bearing on me. So you set your pricing to whatever is convenient for you. And
Okay.
how I get paid is on the back end. I only get paid if you use bank products.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So the software is 100% free. I do have a charge for every bank product that you charge. I get $30 off of it, and I actually do not get that money until the end of the season.
Okay.
So that's the only reason why I do charge for phone support, because I am hiring assistants for phone support, so I have to keep them compensated. But as you can see, I definitely kept everything at an affordable rate for the upgrades.
Yeah.
But there's a way, but you don't have to spend a dime in order for you to get into this business, not with me at least.
Right.
You can get your software for free, you get your bank products for free, you can use their marketing, you can also, pop into Fiverr and, have someone design all of your templates and stuff for you. I just know that I've been doing this for a long time. I've got reliable people that put out reliable stuff pretty quickly. So if you need that help, I'm here for you. And if you don't, I still want you to be successful. So I'm here.
Oh yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna use all the help I get. Like I said, everything that you have to offer, I'm gonna go ahead and take advantage of it. So, like I said, got a kid coming. So we got to make sure I have stuff to leave and for him.
Well, I will tell you, when I started with my
So,
when I started with my private
Yeah.
office,
So no,
um, and I did my advertising, my first year,
mhm.
I made $80,000 as a one-person tax office.
Wow. Okay.
So
Well, that's
I,
perfect.
I will also give you links of places that you can use that will send you leads. They do cost, but it's definitely worth it because it's
Yeah.
clients that you would have, that you won't receive because it, based on what you told me, it doesn't seem like you're going to get a foot traffic office. So you'll definitely want to have some good leads going. So I'll
Yeah,
point
we
you in the
definitely need that.
direction of some successful advertising that I have done,
Okay.
and we'll get you going.
Yes, I appreciate that.
No problem.
I can deal
All
with that.
righty. If we don't have any more questions, I'm going to go ahead and end this call.
Okey-doke.
All righty. You have a wonderful day, B. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. I promise.
Yes, ma'am. And you take care of yourself, please.
I will.
Okay.
I promise. You enjoy the rest of your day, sweetie.
You too, hon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.